Roman Reigns was not man enough to defend our title at WrestleMania.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Acknowledge us.
Hey, it's the red carpet rain. We are here. Thank you all for coming out. We're here to talk about the Go Home Show, talking about WWE SmackDown results, the Money in the Bank Go Home Show. Thank you all for coming out. Sorry for the small delay, but we here now as we going to talk about this show before the PLE that's going to be tonight on Peacock. So let's talk about it. We're going to go over the show. We're going to talk about the matches, what happened. Then, of course, I will give my final rating on SmackDown. And then I also go over a new thing that I do right before I do bonus round. What went wrong with SmackDown? I will go into that as well. So let's see who came to the ring before I begin shortly. Let's see who came in. Let's get into it. We got here Figure 4 TV. Salute to you. Always supporting the channel. Check out that channel for Golden Age Wrestling. But also, guys, we got the bonus round. And let's not forget about the bonus round. The bonus round is going to be a very interesting one. It's going to be why AJ Lee will show up at Money in the Bank. There's been a lot of buzz going around social media about that. So we're going to talk about that as well, too. As soon as we get to the bonus round, we'll talk about AJ Lee. We'll see why she may show up at Money in the Bank. So let's keep an eye on that, too. But other than that, guys, let's go over first the SmackDown match card. We're going to talk about that first. So let's get into that real quick. Let's see what the match card this was for July 5th. Let's talk about this recent SmackDown card. I'll give you guys a couple moments to look that over. All right, now that's the match card there. We also here on Facebook and X. We'll be there for a little bit, and then we will momentarily after, right before bonus round, we're gonna say our goodbyes there. Come to YouTube on Red Carpet Rain if you want to check out the whole, not just SmackDown review, the what went wrong, but also bonus round. So let's get into it and get the likes up. We got 29 people in. Let's get the likes up in here. We got a lot of people in the building. So let's get those likes up. Keep the notification bell on when I do go live. Appreciate all y'all support. But let's get into it, y'all. We're going to talk about first. It was obvious. Very good way to kick off the show. Very good way. We had the kickoff here talking about all the participants of the men's Money in the Bank segment. We had Jey Uso come out, yeet. Then we had LA Knight. Yeah, I mean, we heard a lot of it. I mean, it was a lot of floating going around. We heard those two. They had a good segment. I mean, like I said, it was good seeing those two. Those two are honestly. So we had those two talk, and Jey Uso was talking, and then of course we had LA Knight talking. And LA Knight was saying, Jey Uso, you done well for yourself. You left your family, the bloodline, made a name for yourself. You got Jey Uso. It's me, Us, day one-ish, blah, blah, blah. You broke away, got the yeet. He said yeet, and he said, I respect that, but the only way I ain't gonna respect it because he credited just to discredit him. I like that LA Knight in a segment. He said, I'm going to get over with the I'm going to win Money in the Bank. Yeah, I'm gonna go through you to win it. Then Carmelo came out, Chad Gable came out, then Melo, all these guys came out. Chad Gable was coming out. They barely talked. Then we know another good point in the segment where things really got turned up. It was with Drew McIntyre. He came out wearing that bracelet, mocking CM Punk. Then he got in the face of everybody. Drew just cooked everybody on the mic. He cooked everybody. He talked about LA Knight. The only thing we're gonna be saying is not no. He talked about Carmelo. Him, you're gonna look up to him, meaning Drew McIntyre when he wins the Money in the Bank contract. He looked straight at Jay before they attacked each other. Then he talked about everybody. Andrade was also came out. He was in the corner chilling. He came out, talked a little bit. He just got all the participants. He said, Chad Gable, I feel sorry for you. He didn't even say nothing for him. It was funny, though. Very funny. Very good segment, though. Very, very good segment. So other than that, though, these guys attacked each other. It was chaos all over the place. And it was a good segment. Very good segment of to kick off SmackDown. So I admired that. I liked where it was going. So it was a good way to kick it off the show. So you guys, let me know what you thought about that in the chat. That was crazy though. Definitely crazy. But I thought it was interesting though. Other than that, this was a good segment. All the participants, they got a good way to talk to everybody, see how they felt, and everything else of sort. But it was a very, very good segment. And I liked how they kicked off SmackDown with it. Love 9905, smart salute to you. Say CM Punk is coming. That remains to be seen. And I'll get to more of that in my bonus round if you stick around. So make sure you guys stick around for that. But it's going to be interesting with this segment. It's going to be interesting to see what are they going to do next. That's going to be the crazy part. Other than that, though, guys, I liked it. I think it was a great segment. We're going to get to another part of the show. We'll talk about the Cody Randy KO segment. They came out first. They had their concerns with the bloodline. We can't forget about that. All three of these guys came out front and center. So it was good that these guys came out together. They was not playing around. They was not going for any nonsense. They all had serious look in his face, especially Kevin Owens. He was not in the mood for anything of any sort, of any kind at all. It was not the normal KO that we know. KO just wasn't going for none of it. I mean, none of it at all whatsoever. He just wasn't doing it. But I salute KO for that. I like how he got made sure he puts respect on his name. But definitely, this was a good segment. Salute to you, CeeLo Myers, coming to the ring. But we know there was some concern. I mean, off screen. When they came out and cut the promo. Also, before we get to that, keep an eye on Randy. Look how he's standing at Cody's championship. Keep an eye on Randy Orton. He is the Viper. Keep an eye on that boy Randy because something not right. And it seemed like Randy is ready to put Cody on his list. So watch out for the Viper.
You just made the list!
So keep an eye on Mr. Randy Orton, RKO. Meanwhile, we'll get to the good segment. The segment is when they came out, they all talked, they all said what they had to say. Like I said, KO was definitely in a serious mood. His mother is in the hospital, said she's fighting like hell. He said he's been in hospital back and forth for the past several days. They said several days she's been in the hospital. I think she said maybe 4 or 5 days, something like that. And he said his mother encouraged him that he should be at SmackDown instead of being in the hospital. She wanted to keep fighting like hell. She also helps. He also mentioned that his mother helped him pursue his dreams of becoming a professional wrestler. His mom was always behind him, saying, if you want something, fight like hell to get it. And he did. He started independent scene, and of course, Ring of Honor, where he get with his real name Kevin Steen. He got popular there. Then eventually worked his way to WWE, where he currently is today. Very heartfelt segment by Kevin Owens. I feel like I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm really not. But I'll get into that later. It seemed like it's a whole. We'll get to that later. But other than that, Kevin Owens, he went in. He talked about that. Then, of course, Randy Orton said most 3 destructive letters. Like I said, keep an eye on Randy Orton. Then, of course, Cody Rhodes came out. He talked about the Bloodline as well. So they're ready to fight. The bottom line is these guys are ready to fight when it comes to Bloodline and Money in the Bank. They're definitely ready to fight these guys. They definitely are not taking new nonsense from anybody. So it's a good way to set up their match. Good way to set up their match. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen next with the Money in the Bank. See you guys have to say here. Yep, yeet, CM Punk. Yeah. We're gonna see his show. We're gonna definitely see about that. But this is a good segment though. This is right, like I said, right after the whole Money in the Bank segment. I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens had to go home. I'm pretty sure he had to go home and look after his mom, goes back to the hospital. Maybe their segment was set to be later. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it was set to be later, and I'll get to that later on. But I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure they pushed that segment up for KO to go home since he's a part of the storyline with Cody and Randy against the Bloodline. But other than that, let's get into the rest of the show. Good segment though. Still good segment. We had a match here. We had a match of the former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, and they had a match. Their match was against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. 4 minutes and 8 seconds they had their match for. Very quick match. Pretty much a quick one. Pretty much a burial match, you might as well say. But other than that, they won the match with the great teamwork of Bianca and Jade. Also, they cut a promo stating that they're going to come back for their women's tag team championships. They mentioned that. So they mentioned that as well. And they said that Isla Dawn and Albert Fry keep the titles warm for them, keep them ready, because these girls are coming. They want those tag team belts back. They look strong and dominant. So expect to see Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill in their rematch against Isla Dawn and Albert Fry. And they're going to challenge to get their women's tag team championships back. Also, I'm going to notate that neither one of them was pinned when they lost their titles. So it's made them look strong. It was Shayna Baszler that was pinned. Jade Cargill was going to get the pin. And I think Isla gave Jade a little suplex, got out the way, and Albert Fry was holding Bianca back so she wouldn't stop it. And that's how they lost. But they were not pinned. So I'm assuming they're going to get a rematch at SummerSlam, or that's a couple weeks leading up to it. Probably going to be a SummerSlam. Just guessing. But other than that, though, guys, this was a quick match. See what else happened on SmackDown. Let's see. That was the end of that segment as well. So let's see. Let's talk about it. Let's see. Another part of the show. We had other stuff going on. Now we're going to get to the nitty gritty. We'll talk about other stuff for SmackDown before we get to the nitty gritty. Before we get to the main event, let's get to it real quick. On SmackDown here, we had Bayley. Bayley had a match against Piper Niven. 7 minutes and 39-second match. So we had that match. Had some backstage segments. Other than that, the main part of the show was the tag team championships being defended, and it was Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano DIY competing for the tag team championships against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, A-Town Down Under. So they had the match, and yes, we have brand new tag team champions in DIY. They have won the WWE Tag Team Championship in a great match. I would say match of the night. They won championship about 14 minutes. They won it when they hit the submission move. These guys really brought it, though. Much credit to these guys. They really did their thing. They really did their thing. I liked how these guys went at it in the match. I like how these guys went back and forth. They gave us a very good main event. This main event at the show. Very good way to main event. Good way for these guys to go back and forth at it. And they was not stopping until they got what they wanted. Remember DIY, they was on Raw, and they was at one point number one contenders for the tag team championships, which they never won. We know that, but these guys were good. They looked solid, and I gotta give credit where credit's due. These guys, they deserve these tag team championships. They definitely deserve these. Very well, they do. They very much well deserve it. Brand new tag team champions. Won championships. They brought everything they could to make sure they win, and it paid off at the end of the day. They got these guys good. I mean, DIY always been a great tag team, even back to the NXT days. These guys, they always put on a good show, always put on a good performance. I'm not denying that at all what you guys did. You guys always stepped up. They stepped up most when it counted the most. That's what I like about these guys. They always stepped up when needed so being. They always stepped up when needed. I'm not taking nothing away from these guys. These guys were solid. So I give them their credit. Like I said, great tag team, one of the best I've seen. Still to this day. I like these guys. These guys, they're nothing to mess with. Definitely nothing to mess with. I like how these guys always been competitors, always put up a fight. DIY, this is a storybook. I mean, let's be honest. They played off how they was, in this same building where they won years ago. And as you can see, in history repeats itself. They said lightning did strike twice. Remember, they won a championship. They shook hands in his first stint with Triple H back 8 years ago. Take over Toronto against we know they're not with WWE, but FTR. It was the Revival back then, if you guys remember that. And now, fast forward, they're here again, shaking hands Triple H, but this time they're tag team champions in the main roster. This is their first win, not just it's their first win in the main roster. So they have not held tag team champs on the main roster. I know if they hold the World Tag Team Championships on Raw, if they ever go back to Raw, they will be Triple Crown Tag Team Champions or Grand Slam, whatever you want to call it. They have. I know Street Profits already got that credit. They have pretty much won all the Tag Team Championship gold on the show. So that's going to be amazing. I mean, look, they even paid tribute to FTR during the match.
Ranks of the tag champ for this machine.
So they did that. That was amazing. but it was amazing how they won.
Ciampa! The champs are going, oh, it's a tap out! They did it! They did it!
You saw Corey Graves was happy for them. It was the match of the night. Definitely match of the night. So I'm very happy how these guys did their thing. They definitely did their thing. Congratulations again to DIY. Very well deserved. Very well deserved, these guys. Always putting up a fight. Always handling business as usual. And it was no different tonight than even was at NXT Toronto years ago. Takeover. Definitely not over. Congratulations to them. And I'm going to mention the segment after that closed out the show. This was the main event, but we have one more little segment, and I'm going to mention that right now. We'll get to that real in a second. Let's talk about that as well. Let's talk about that real quick of that segment, because this closed out the show, and this was also hyping up the match. So congratulations again to DIY. Well deserved. Now we're going to talk about Solo, the Bloodline, Solo mainly. And they really had the last segment of the show. It was Solo. He talked about how he's the tribal chief. He talked about how they took, of course, they showed how they played off them taking off Paul Heyman last week. They also showed he also stated why Roman, as we seen before, why Roman was not the tribal chief anymore, because he lost at WrestleMania to Cody Rhodes in the main event, WrestleMania 49 2, Bloodline rules, anything goes. Solo replayed off that, and he said something important. He said, Roman, if you want to take the title of tribal chief back, you got to come get me for it, because as far as Solo's concerned, he will be challenging Roman. He'll be challenging Cody for his WWE Championship, since Cody was the man that beat Roman at WrestleMania. Honestly, no one's buying this whole Solo's the tribal chief, and then you wait till Roman's gone to talk all this garbage. Come on, Solo. Let's keep it a buck here. You ain't being real with yourself. But he had interest. Like I said, I said this earlier. It's going to come down to Roman versus Solo, and I've also said that Solo has a good argument of why he'll come after Roman. Do we believe you, Solo? Do we think you're the guy to shut it down? No. You're not the real tribal chief, not by any means. Not by any means. So we're going to see more about that. And he said a good part, though. Let's see. He said in his promo,
Roman Reigns was not man enough to defend our title at WrestleMania.
So he don't think Roman was man enough. He said their title. So that's crazy, but this is definitely going to further up the storyline between Roman when he returns. We know Roman's coming back soon. I said this last week. Of course, Bloodline hyped up their match against the six-man tag between Cody, KO, and versus Bloodline. So we already know about that as well. We already know how that's going to go down. Other than that, guys, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the next move going to be. But Roman, he's coming back. He's coming back. I don't see. We don't know when. It could be Money to Bank. It could be later on. I don't know what the case may be, but he's going to come back at some given point. He's going to come back. Other than that, though, guys, that was the last segment of the show. Now, before I get to my review, and right when I get to review and what went wrong with SmackDown, I'm going to mention something right now. Just a little notate. I'm going to say this is next week. This is going to be the match card for next week. So these are next week's matches. It will be Michigan. She will finally go one-on-one against Nia Jax, as these two been attacking each other for the past 7 weeks. It's been boiling, steaming up. And of course, also another match next week. It will be Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews teaming up, as these two have problems with Angel Garza and Humberto. I guess he goes by Berto now, as you can see in it still. He don't go by Humberto, he goes by Berto for short. That's real creative, I guess, to say the least. But these are the next week's matches that they said will be next week. So this will be the first SmackDown next week after the Money in the Bank PLE. So this going to further up the feud between Nia Jax and Michin. You know, Bayley was attacked by Nia Jax and all the women competitors came out. I ain't getting to that too much. It was nothing. The women always compete. It helped hype up the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And Michin attacked Nia Jax and show Michin and Bayley be on the same side. And of course, Tiffany will be in Nia Jax's corner. And of course, the whole Legado del Fantasia, Santos Escobar, they had a backstage segment. I think it was after the it was not on screen. He mocked Corbin for never winning Money in the Bank. And then he gonna do attack me. Then Berto and Angel Garza came out to attack Baron. Then Apollo stepped in. He has Baron's okay. So that's when these matches were made. That's the point I'm getting to. So very, very good one. But other than that, though, guys, that is the next week matches set up for WWE SmackDown. That will be for what? I think that will be the SmackDown for July 12th. Other than that, though, guys, let's get to the rating for SmackDown. So let's get into that. So, SmackDown rating. What do I have for this show? I give it 4 out of 5. Because the main event was so good. And I know that good segments by the Bank ladder participants. Also, we had the Bloodline, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, all that saga, good setup between those two. You know, and of course, Jay and Bianca had the short match, but we know when the match was there, it was there for them to say they want to come back to the championships. I'm gonna get more into that tomorrow, but other than that, it was a solid show. Was it the best go-home show? I thought it could have been a little bit better, but we will see what I mean by that in a second, guys. So keep the likes up as we come in. We got 26 people in here, so let's keep the likes up. Facebook, X, come over here, get the likes up. We got a lot of people in here. We talking about the go home show for the PLE. So let's get into this segment here. It's a new segment, by the way. Like I said, new segment. I ain't going to talk about what went wrong with SmackDown, and I will do that not just with SmackDown, but for Raw. I did it this week. First one I did it was Raw. What went wrong with Monday Night Raw? What went wrong with NXT? Now I'm doing SmackDown, and I'm gonna do the same thing with Money in the Bank tonight. What went wrong? I'm just gonna mention up things that I see were wrong. I go maybe a few points. So I'm gonna get to that now with SmackDown. We covered SmackDown. We covered Happened. We covered my rating. We covered next week's match card and go over this match. We already discussed this week's match card. Now we're gonna talk about what went wrong. Let's talk about what went wrong with this show particularly that I did not like. Let's get into that in a second. Chelsea green card show she will cash in most definitely. Piper will be her muscle. DIY, my unsolicited thought, salute to you. DIY was a good win, no doubt about it. But let's talk about it. What went wrong with SmackDown? For a go-home show, I thought the match was too short. And what do I mean by that? As you heard me mention earlier, we had the Jade Cargill match, 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Did we really need that on the go-home show? Did we really need that? No. Another short match, Bayley versus Piper Niven, 7 minutes and 39 seconds. You really need that match on the go-home show? Again, no, we didn't need that. I thought the matches were too short. If you want to have matches that short, you better off have backstage like this. And stuff that was not aired, that was on WWE X or YouTube, you could have did that. Excuse me. You could have did that. If the match was too short for that, I think it was necessary. We had 2 matches. One was a little over 5 minutes, and one was under 5 minutes. Seriously, we did not need that. And I didn't think it was necessary at all. I don't think it would have made a big difference in the show. So I just didn't agree with it. And I would say that right there makes the list.
You just made the list!
So that was not needed by any means. It was not needed. That's my first point, my first talking point. Yeah, very good win for DIY. Salute to them. Now, I'll go over another thing I saw wrong. The Randy KO Cody segment, I believe, my opinion, I think that segment, great segment. Like I said, I know it was early because Kevin Owens had, he's talking about his mom and stuff. Understandable. I think the solo segment that he did at the very end of SmackDown, the solo segment, I think that shit went right after that because this was the beginning of the show and they immediately had not only Solo late at the end of the show, it closed out SmackDown. And it wasn't even live, it was a vignette. So I thought these segments should have been behind each other. It didn't make sense for it to have it that much separated apart, especially if it was a vignette. At least if you weren't going to have it at the end of the show a solo segment, at least it could have branched out to somewhere in the middle. That would have made sense. So I did not agree how they did that. But I understood why, because like I said, Kevin Owens' situation. And like I said, it's a very, like I said, I know it's tough on Kevin Owens right now. I'm not denying that at all about Kevin Owens. I'm not. So I understand why he did what why he had to cut it, that you go personal like that. I get why he did that, so he could, get segment, get back to the hospital. So that makes sense, but some stuff, it did not make sense to me. It didn't. At least I didn't see it that way. I didn't understand why. So that's how I saw that particular segment. I'm like, why these days put it back to back? Why were they separate like that? So I didn't get that at all for life of me. I thought they made utter no sense at all whatsoever. Add a segments right behind each other so it made sense. Don't have it so gappy to the point we almost forget about it. At least that's how I would have played that out very well. So if we would have remembered it, it was a vignette on top of that. So that was, I'm like, I don't agree with that one, but I get it too. So it's totally understandable why they did it that way. But like I said, that's how they. I don't know if they was present. I don't know what it was. I don't know what the case was. But I see at least WWE, they're doing what they have to do. And while we're on that segment as well, it's enough that I want to point out. Some people may not like what I'm about to say. I'm going to say it anyway. One red carpet ring. We'll do that. So another thing I'm going to touch on in a second. Like I said, I'm going to be alarmed. If you don't get too upset. One thing I want to point out. Also, is there something wrong with WWE? I mean, is this Mother's Week? This is the second week in a row someone has done a promo about their mother. We saw this with Lola Vice on NXT, if you follow NXT, leading up to her match with Roxanne Perez, stating that, Lola, her mother was sick and she had stopped training for a while, and now she's going to call mother a phone call saying, hey, I won an NXT championship. I make sure I fight for my mom, make sure I beat Roxanne and keep winning. And now we got Kevin Owens, whose mother's also, she's sitting down in the hospital, and they're doing that. I mean, I think there's I don't know, with so much emphasis on, we don't need to put I think it's too much personal segments in these segments of involving their mothers or fathers, or whoever the case may be, in that immediate family, to get the crowd behind you. Now, Lola Vice, she was a heel. She's pretty much fully transitioned to a baby face, and one we feel sorry for. Kevin Owens is already a baby face. I didn't understand why he had to add that in there. I don't know if Kevin wants to add that in there. Maybe that's how he was really feeling. Maybe, he's fighting for his mom, but I think WWE's it's taking too far with everyone's talking about their mother out and bring that into the promo. I just thought that was a little too much. If you guys agree or disagree in that segment, I didn't understand that at all. Like I said, I watch the shows, I pay attention to things. This is the second time someone's mother has been mentioned in the promo, whether it's in a big title match like Lola Vice or in a six-man tag like Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline. I don't understand what the concept is here. I just think that he's too personal involved with smells and promos. Sometimes it does work, but sometimes it's hard. And now I'm seeing a pattern here. So that's another thing I saw wrong. But I got one more thing I want to mention that was wrong here as well. We'll get to that right now. But that's one thing I wanted to mention. I didn't get that at all. So that's just me. But DIY, so glad they won a belt. I am. But it was so obvious that they was going to win the tag team championship from SmackDown. They kept feeding off, the whole Grayson and Austin Theory having issues, chemistry issues. Grayson using Austin Theory, which was very that. And then DIY came and said, "Hey, we won this building 8 years ago against the Revival or FTR, whatever you want to call them now, at NXT Tag Team belts. We're gonna win again." And they made it so obvious, like the crowd knew that they was going to win, and I'm glad they won. I'm not taking nothing away from DIY. I'm glad they won. WWE made it so obvious that they was going to win. It made it so obvious that the win was automatically going to be there. So that's the only thing I didn't understand. Can you guys hear me now? Anyway, I think it was too obvious that DIY won the belts. They played off the whole, like I said, they went in the same building that they won a tag team belts years ago. They played off the whole DIY beat the Revival for the tag team belts. They played it off where they was going to win tonight. They played it so well that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory was going to obviously have issues, that Grayson Waller was using Austin Theory and Austin Theory was going to trust him anymore. It was so obvious. It was so obvious that these two were going to win tonight. It was so obvious that the tag team belts were theirs. Like I said, that's my opinion, but salute to DIY for winning. And if you guys can hear me, I'll go over the other segments that I mentioned. I mentioned too, just the recap of what went wrong. I thought the matches were too short. I said that earlier. And I mentioned these matches were too short, which I meant Piper, Bayley too short. These matches were too short. And it didn't need to be for the go-home show. And I mentioned too that the segments of KO, Randy, and all those three against the Bloodline solo segment should have went right after. It would have made more sense storyline. And then, like I said, I mentioned the whole Mother's Week thing. It's the second week in a row. Second time this week in the same week that we have people cut promos about talking about their mothers, talking about how heartfelt. It's always a heartfelt story. Lola, her mother being sick, she couldn't train. She's gonna call her when she won the belt. Kevin Owens' mother is sick. So, of course, now talk about DIY. So those are the issues that I had. Those are issues I had when we went wrong with SmackDown. Other than that, the show was solid. A good, solid show. Could have been a lot better if they took a couple things out. It seemed like WWE, they wanted to make sure they was on schedule. They had to get ready for Money in the Bank because this is in Canada. So that's the things I saw wrong with WWE SmackDown tonight for SmackDown. But other than that, it was a solid show, to say the least. Very solid show. Very solid show. Other than that, though, guys, this is the end of SmackDown here. SmackDown Live results, Money in the Bank Go Home show. And of course, you guys, you can check out other videos of the Money in the Bank 2024 final predictions and World Champ versus Developmental Champ future match. So check that out as well. But we're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna say our goodbyes to X and Facebook. I know you guys viewing there. If you want to check out more of the bonus round, what I'm gonna get into, please come to Red Carpet Ring on YouTube. Red Carpet Ring on YouTube. I know we got several of you guys over there on X and Facebook, so come on over. Appreciate it. We're gonna get to the bonus round now. All right, let's get to the bonus round, and let's get that going shortly. All right. We are here at the bonus round. We are going to talk about on the bonus round here. We're going to talk about why AJ Lee was shown at Money in the Bank. I know there's been some buzz of AJ Lee on the Money in the Bank PLE. There's been some talk of her coming. I believe she's going to show up, and I think she's going to get her due against Mr. Drew McIntyre. I would say Drew has been a savage, to say the least, and she's there to screw him. That's the way I see it. As you can see, I think AJ Lee will come in the middle of the match. We saw last time at Clash at the Castle, we saw Drew, get screwed by Punk, and when Punk was the referee, we saw that part. But I don't think it's going to be CM Punk this time in a referee role, as we saw Clash at the Castle. And I said that CM Punk was going to show Clash at the Castle, and I was right. I will say this time, we're going to have AJ Lee show up, his wife. And the reason I said it, because you got to remember, I stated this earlier. Keep an eye on this. I stated that Drew, he kept flaunting the bracelet. Remember, he kept flaunting that bracelet. Remember, he had the bracelet right there, and that's still in the second one to the right. He kept putting it up, and AJ Lee's name is on there. So I think she's going to come back and get Drew or distraction. Don't even have to touch Drew, just distraction. Just distract him. And remember, Drew, we know that Drew has been taunting CM Punk since this whole thing began. And I'm not going to lie, Drew's been a savage on the mic, and he's been savage on social media. He even posted a photo a while back. If you guys remember this, it's him, his wife, their dog, and he has the bracelet there. One big happy family. He's clearly doing this to mock CM Punk. He's clearly doing this to get under CM Punk's skin. He's clearly doing that. And I would say it's funny. Definitely funny. Yeah, I definitely say it's funny. I'm not going to lie. CM Punk is funny. I would say it's going to be crazy. But AJ Lee going to come in the door, swinging. She going to get Punk. She going to give him a little message. A little message like this.
Who the hell told you tonight was open mic night, bitch?
So expect AJ Lee to say that to Punk. AJ Lee to say it to Drew for Punk. Stand up for her husband, because we know Drew was taken out he took out CM Punk on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. If AJ pulled up with Larry and Slick Larry on Drew, that would be funny. I don't think that he's going to take it that far. It would be funny, though. It would be very funny. But since Drew want to post these pictures, mocking CM Punk, and of course, AJ and the dog, you know that AJ Lee is watching. So I think it's gonna come down to her showing up in the match, and she's gonna look at Drew, give him that look, and right when Drew's at the ladder, right when he's at the top, right when he climbing the ladder about to grab the briefcase, we can hear that music. Light it up, light it up, let's light it up. AJ Lee's old song. You're gonna hear that, and the crowd's gonna go bananas. They'll go bananas when they hear that. They'll definitely go bananas on that one. I think that's gonna be hilarious. Definitely hilarious. So we can't ignore that part. That's going to be good. That's going to be a good one. But I would like to see that go down with AJ Lee and showing up at Money in the Bank. Like I said, she's going to come in. She's going to come when Drew's climbing the ladder, or she's going to come during the match, whatever the case may be. She's going to get Drew McIntyre's attention. They used to use Matilda the same way. For guys you don't know what Figure 4 TV is talking about, he's talking about the British Bulldog. That was the mascot of the British Bulldogs. That was their manager. Remember, they used to do that, stick the Matilda on them, and then run around the ring and all that stuff. They could do that with Larry. I could see that happening. They could take it back. Yes, Bulldogs, they could take that back and do that. That would be hilarious. But I have reason to believe that AJ Lee will show up at Money in the Bank. Everyone thinks CM Punk is going to show up. They're wrong. CM Punk is not. He may be there. You may see him backstage. You may see him with AJ afterwards, but he's not going to come in to interfere in Drew McIntyre's match for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. It's going to be AJ this time, because you know why? Drew is going to already be setting his head. He's going to be prepared for CM Punk. Even though he took CM Punk out, even though he took the bracelet from CM Punk, he'll be already in my mind. I'm prepared for CM Punk because CM Punk has showed up multiple times to screw me. He showed up at Clash at the Castle. He showed up at that Monday Night Raw to be the number in that match where he lost in a 4-way match. He is prepared for CM Punk mentally and physically, but he will not be prepared for AJ Lee. I think Drew just won't be ready. He will not be ready for this. He won't be ready for AJ Lee by any means. He's not going to be ready for it to come up. He don't know what to do. He don't know how it's going to go down. AJ Lee could get him. It's going to be hilarious, though. So you guys think of that. Figure 4 TV said Bobby the Brain know exactly what he did. He know what he did. Oh, you talking about we know what you did, and it goes a little something like this.
I didn't know that. You know what you did. I know what you're talking about. I fair and square. You know what you're a legend, man.
Yep, Drew, you know what you did, and you know you messed up. So AJ gotta come for you, and like you said, you may even get Larry the Doll to come after you as well. So keep an eye out for that. It would be very interesting. AJ Lee shows up to screw Drew McIntyre. That would be the headline, not just of that match. It'll be the headline of the night for Money in the Bank. So I would love to see what's going to happen next. I would love to see what the next move is going to be for AJ Lee if she shows up. Because remember, AJ always said that, in interviews, she may never say never. She said that too. Figure 4 TV say he stole Matilda. If Drew steal Larry, I'm rolling. That would be fun if he did steal. If he did do that, because I know he has his own dog as shown in his picture. He has his own little pet. He has his own little pet. So I don't know if that's the case. If that's gonna go down, he has his own pet. So I don't know if he's going to take. Well, that's he already got their own pet, him and his wife. So I don't know if AJ is even gonna let you get near Larry, but I know AJ Lee. I still see her returning. She said in this interview a while back. She actually talked about it. Actually, believe it or not.
Everybody wants to know this, including myself. Could we see you in the WoW wrestling ring? I mean, I would want to see it. I'm just saying.
So I will say, I say the same thing in every interview, and it's always never say never, but don't hold your breath. And what I mean by that is that I never say never to anything physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm healed from everything I've gone through in wrestling. I could technically do it, but I'm so enjoying it, like letting the next generation have their spotlight. I got to do everything I wanted to do. So it really would have to be, is that challenge there? I don't think the girls need me there. I think that they are going to take over.
So she said that in an interview. Now, don't get me wrong. That was for Wild Wrestling. We understand that. Don't get me wrong. We understand that as well. But what the point I'm trying to make is AJ Lee did say never say never. Figure 4 TV says she's my celebrity pass card. I ain't gonna lie, she kind of is mine too. That right there deserves a undisputed.
And that is undisputed.
So yes, that would be interesting to see. Very interesting. CM Punk caught your blessings, but yeah. The reason I made that point too, like I said, AJ Lee. She said that for Wild Wrestling. She could say the same for WWE. She could show up in the ring anytime to come back, have a one-on-one match, whether it's against Roxanne Perez, whether it's against Bayley or anybody else for that matter. So she could come to screw Drew McIntyre. Because remember, he took that bracelet and their name, AJ and Larry name is on that bracelet. So she will get involved. And you can see her get involved in the match, and Drew's going to look pissed off. So I could very well see that going down that way. At least I do. But other than that, though, guys, that's all with the bonus round. And that's all I have regarding other bonus round. Why AJ Lee will show up at Money in the Bank. So let's keep that frame of mind. They still could show up. We got to keep that in there. I can see that being very well the case for Money in the Bank, which is an important match for Drew. We know Drew, he got the Money Bank cashing on him at WrestleMania from Damian Priest. We also know that Drew's been fighting like crazy to get back in the world title picture. And if he does not win his briefcase tonight, and if it's because of AJ Lee, it's going to crush him. It really going to crush him. He is going to have a fit. He already whines. He's going to have a real bad fit. I mean, really bad fit. And do not be surprised if he even go far to go into a rant again.
I don't care what Edge wants. I'm Seth freaking Rollins. This place revolves around me.
Don't be surprised if he goes off like that. It can very well be the case. So I'm not going to doubt that any moment at all. And like I said, CM Punk will be there to laugh, probably laugh in Drew's face, whatever the case may be. He could do that too, because Drew he messed with the wrong one. He came across the definitely wrong one, and it's going to be hilarious, very hilarious how that's going to go down. So I think he will be screwed that way. And he keep wearing that bracelet everywhere he's going. Drew's he's taking it way too far at this point. He just wears the bracelet continuously everywhere he goes. So he's asking for trouble at the end of the day. He's asking for trouble. So you can't tell me he ain't asked for trouble. But this will be an important Money in the Bank match. Let's not forget Money in the Bank is this later tonight. But yeah, he's asking for trouble though. Drew wants that work. And CM Punk, and it's going to also further up the storyline with Drew and CM Punk at SummerSlam. If he loses if he does not win his contract, they're gonna have a match regardless, but it's gonna make it much more worse than that. I can promise you that. It's gonna make it much, much more worse if they go down that route. Because Drew is you got CM Punk for the battle. You may not end up winning the war the way you want to, because stakes are getting high, emotions are getting high, personal feelings, all of that, all-time high. So Drew, you better watch out. You may not get Punk. You be prepared for Punk. You are not gonna be prepared for AJ Lee, and as Figure 4 TV say, maybe even Larry the Dog. You're not even prepared for him either. He's another one you ain't prepared for. So you got to keep that in mind of what the case may be. You're going to get that work. Definitely get that work. So I don't know, guys. This is going to be interesting. Very interesting story. This has been the best story, if not the best rivalry in WWE all year round since this whole thing began. So it's going to be great. It's going to be very ugly. This is getting way too personal. Way too personal. So Drew is and definitely Drew, his mic skills has improved due to CM Punk, I believe, helping him. And it made Drew a menace on the mic. It made Drew a menace, period. So much credit to Drew McIntyre as well. Drew's definitely been doing his thing. He definitely been shutting it down. So other than that, though, guys, Drew is in for one with CM Punk. He's definitely in for one. So do not be surprised if anything crazy go down with these two, because it will go down. Do not count CM Punk out. Don't count AJ Lee out. He's going to use CM Punk very, very strategic, and he's going to make sure he gets to Drew the best way possible. Definitely. If you think CM Punk, you're going to get him over, you better try again, because do not be, like I said, it's going to get to the point, Money in the Bank, Drew will be thinking he's won, and he could be climbing that ladder, and that music hits. And you may even see CM Punk. He probably show up. He might be on the side of AJ. He'll see AJ, and then he looks. Punk is there. Maybe Punk do show up. You know, maybe Bowen's showing up, and then next thing you know, he's thrown off the ladder. And whoever wins, well, that may be Carmelo Hayes or another heel, they climb up and they get the win, and that's it. The match is over, and Drew is gonna really lose it. He's gonna lose it. And CM Punk's already on his list. He'll be on his list even much, much more. And it's going to just take things too far. Remember, Drew McIntyre had quote unquote quit. He got so mad he quit. So he ain't going to quit this time. He going to want some of CM Punk. And it's going to be definitely a SummerSlam match, maybe a steel cage, maybe a Hell in a Cell, maybe a false count anywhere, or maybe just a street fight, or maybe just a no holds barred. But it will be a special stipulation to this feud when they do have a match at SummerSlam. It will be a one-on-one. It's going to be a very gritty match. It's going to be very personal. All the emotions, it's going to lead up high. And it could even be so good that this match in particular may even be match of the year and also feud of the year. We talk about Cody versus Roman. We could talk about other feuds. CM Punk and Drew will be the top of that list. He'll be at the top of that list. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be. This has been going on literally since after the right before Royal Rumble, and we're in July now. So this has been a long-term feud and long-term booking. Salute to Triple H and the rest of Creative putting this together. Salute to them putting this whole thing together, because they have been hitting all cylinders with the storyline. All cylinders. So I would not be surprised by any means if it goes down that way. I wouldn't be. But this is going to be amazing, though, guys. This is something to tune into. Could they have just a one match? Maybe just one due to CM Punk's health. You know, we know that he's fragile these days. So maybe they just have a one-off match. I don't see them having a 2-3 match series feud. At least I don't see it going down that way. But I will see at least having a great SummerSlam match. It may be even... Now, maybe not the main event, but it'll definitely be a mid-card up there match. It'll be an underrated match for sure, and it's going to definitely take the whole WWE and the rest of that event by storm. So we got to keep an eye on that, though. But CM Punk, he coming for Drew, and AJ Lee will be involved. She's going to show up. She's going to get in that match. She's going to look all smiley, and she's going to be skipping. Remember, she did that skipping, too. So let's not forget the skipping that she used to do. Skipping is definitely going to turn it up too. So we ain't going to forget about that. But also, like I said, once Drew is out, he does not win that contract. It's going to be, I can see Drew even tearing up everything in Money in the Bank. Probably breaking stuff, tearing stuff apart, damaging everything, destroying everything, yelling, screaming, because he kind of did clash at the council. He was yelling, but he'll probably go so far as destroying stuff. Definitely putting hands on people who gets in his way. I can see all of that happening. Drew that eating 47 pounds. But yeah, I could definitely see that very well going down that way. So when CM Punk AJ Lee, when he gets distracted and lose, it's going to get to the point where CM Punk definitely going to be on this list.
You just made the list!
But other than that, though, guys, that's really all I have regarding why AJ Lee will show up at Money in the Bank. You guys let me know in the live chat and comment section. And on the playback, let me know what you think of that. Soon two videos will pop up. One will be Money in the Bank 2024 final predictions. The next one will be World Champ versus Developmental Champ future match. You guys already know what it is. Until then, we'll cover Money in the Bank post coverage tonight. It is OUT.